Oh yeah, the black pearl. I think it looks so good, guys. So good. And welcome back to the Obsidian Order. My name is Vidargavia, and today we're not going to continue with this. I got a bit burnt out on it when we did the last episode, but I do hope you like it. I've just done one thing, really. How do I get down again? I've cleared out the interior from water, okay? So, look here, this is a massive, massive area. 2 decks it's gonna be, but still. I should be able to fly through there. Yeah. Alright, so today then, we're going to go, first of all, downstairs and I'll show you some things, and I need some feedback from you guys on a, on a style. And then we're going to look at this contraption here. The early stages of a farm that I'm developing. But look at this this here. Okay, so first of all, I desperately need to get some bees. Because I need to stop doing this if I can help it. What do you think of this style? Yeah? Black, sort of orange, and cyan green. And we have the same thing going on over here. And I've just set up some trading villagers here. You know, this is the potato guy. And here we got the wheat guy. And then over here, actually, we have both the carrot and the beetroot guy. Although I'm currently working on getting beetroot seeds so we can start this guy up. But this guy is now up and running, producing some wheat, carrots, and some potatoes here. That's a very good start. We have the villager breeder. Well, it's kind of going crazy, so that's cool. And I've also finally done something with the mob farm here. I've added layers. Let's see if we can actually peek in a bit here. You can't see. I think it's 5 layers. I don't know what we'll do. I'll be right back. Yeah, so 5 layers. If we go out here, you can see the clock here as before. I think I've showed it this already. But here, yeah, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers. If you do this properly, you can actually extend it upwards to, I think it's 9 layers or 8. But this actually does really well. I'll show you in 1 second the produce. But I think it's kind of cool. You can see it from up here. And we're using the tinted glass, of course. So it's no worries. But yeah, as you can see then, the base is going to be like pirate 1700 style, you know? Typical pirate, fancy pirate style, right? And the combined then with this weird, newfangled, modern type style, right? I think it's going to be cool. I think it's going to work alright. Because we'll separate them out in areas, right? So above ground it's going to be pirates and stuff, and below ground here it's going to be more modern stuff. Okay, so this is the mob farm as you remember it, I think. If we go down, I've added a sorting system because the chests were overflowing after I added those layers. Here we go. Just the basic stuff, you know, bones, gunpowder, rotten flesh, string, arrows, and all the rest of it. And it's leaking over sometimes because it's overflowing sometimes. I guess I could fix that, but it's no big deal. And then there's just a water stream here from a bubble column, and encased in glass. Just because I know what it's like is the little clock that drives this. Let's see here. That's the creeper. Shoots up, goes along, and ends up in the sorting system. No, no rocket science. But yeah, I've done the copper and glass here. Probably gonna have some sort of pillars going up here as well. And I have noticed that spiders especially sometimes get caught on the glass here. So we're gonna have to extend it all the way up. But I don't have enough glass yet to do that. So, that's, I think, a status update. Now let's look at this machine of ours that I've started working on, and it's working. But okay, so one of the things that is always irritating in Minecraft is is chopping down trees, right? So this is a tree farm of sorts. But it's also a bone meal farm of sorts, yeah. With this here, and it's just in different parts at the moment. I'm gonna try and make it into some sort of farm. So basically, these blocks, whatever they're called, warped blocks, right? Yeah, warped nylium, and the red version as well, warped nether wart or nether, I don't know. We'll have a look. We'll have a look for completion's sake. Crimson nylium, right? And not warped. They can grow trees on them if you bone meal them. So if we bone meal this block, for instance, and then we bone meal the mushroom, there's a tree. So we didn't have a sapling. We just used bone meal and this particular dirt, right? However, if we leave that tree there, if we leave it there while we cut it down, I love that the hoe now has a use as well here, right? So what we do with this stuff, it's not needed, is we take it to the bone mealer. And we can of course do this automatically later on. And we just bone meal it down. Extra bone meal. Everything in this place is going to be driven by bone meal, so we need lots and lots of it, even though we have a skeleton farm, or well, a mob farm. We do need it. So let's see here. Yeah, so now this is normal nether wart, but if we bone meal again, and it's next to one of those warped nylium blocks, it'll turn into warped nylium again. So the idea here is to just constantly bone meal it. So this here dispenser is for making sure that this is warped nylium. It doesn't use very much bone meal at all. And these here dispensers are for, and by the way, this is in a 5x5 area, so this should be alright. And these three are for creating crops on top here and making them into trees, right? So far, so good. And so far, this is just handled, these dispensers are just handled with a simple observer clock. We might change that up to something else later. Now, the thing is, it doesn't always turn into mushrooms, as you can see, right? If we bone meal this here again, it now turned into these stem things and some stupid grass, right? So, and if we bone meal it again, these doesn't change, right? So we somehow need to get rid of these if they don't turn into trees, right? And so we have these two pistons here, just with redstone connected to them, that will shift this part of the floor periodically. And that is just driven by this hopper clock. And I think I have like 8 items in it at the moment. If we start this up, it'll be a little bit loud, but you can see that shifted. And I really should have another dispenser over here, by the way. Yeah, but this goes like that. And then, if we start this as well, this goes like this. Yeah, there we go. Shifting. And then that breaks those crops. That's not a mushroom either. Same there. So if we have this at a bigger scale, we should be able to create wood out of nothing, right? And then we just go in here, and we can have TNT as well to destroy it. And we can just get rid of these while we wait. And so underneath this, we could have some sort of collection system, and of course it can be encased so that things don't fly everywhere like they do now. And here's going to be a tree now. We could have some sort of observer up top, detecting when there's a tree, and then dropping some TNT or something like that. So this could be a completely automated tree farm, right? And then we could have a sorter, of course, that goes into a composter for all this lot, and then takes care of the wood and the lamps. So this is ticking. I'm going to turn it off for now. This is my idea for a fully automatic tree farm. It's kind of a concept that I'm working on. I might show it off later on. But this is a tip for you to do something like this at least. This also just helps, to be honest. And, you know, I'm going to, of course, have to go and and get normal wood as well. And then you can save these mushrooms. And you can of course save some of this stuff as well, in case you want to decorate with it. But I'm saving the mushrooms for a rainy day. And the lamps are very, very handy to have. Fully automatic tree farm concept. I'm gonna work on this actually, guys, okay? And in the meantime, we should go back here. I've thought about something else as well. These here, levers, they start these farms up, right? But we now have enough bone meal to keep them running all the time, although that is so unnecessary, honestly, guys. So unnecessary. So what I think we'll do with this is we're gonna try and automate this as well, so that they start when the sun is up and they stop when the sun goes down. And actually, I'll tell you something. You should watch Ike's video on his a little bit bigger nano farm, because he goes through it perfectly there. The day in Minecraft is divided into ticks, right? And the farmers farm between 2,000 and 9,000 ticks. So we need some sort of device to find out whether it's around about 2,000 and then it should start, or if it's around about 9,000 and then it should stop. And then we can hook that up to all 4 of these things, and they will just run automatically. Yeah, let's have a look at that. Alright, so for us to do this, we need a daylight detector. We need some sort of barrel. There we go, barrel. And we need a sticky piston and 2 comparators. And then we need like a bunch of items of some description. So let's see. Okay, well, I'll get the 8 items later. Never mind. I'll tell you also exactly how many items you need, right? And so what we do, we can do this anywhere where there's access to daylight. So let's just do it here on this little mysterious structure. Okay, so if we have a daylight detector, it'll detect how bright it is. And if we run a comparator out of that daylight detector, that'll give a longer redstone signal the brighter or the higher up the sun is, right? What we want to do, though, is we want to block the signal if it's at a certain strength. So we put a chest with a comparator out of it into that comparator, and that'll just basically block it if we have a certain strength, depending on how many items we have in this chest here. And then we pull a redstone signal into that redstone signal into a sticky piston. Like that. And that'll then be out when it's bright enough, right? Somebody slept now, so that's that. And then it'll pull in when it's nighttime. So if we put the observer here for the observer clock, then it'll be on now, and then when it pulls back, the observer clock will be off. And that's how we'll do that. You know what? This may be best explained in a creative world where I can set the daytime as well. So I'll hop onto a creative world and show you. Alright, so here we have the device in creative, and we have 2 rows of items plus 3 stacks and 16. That gets us to around time 1900, which is just before time 2000, which is what we wanted. And here we go, we can see the same exact setup connected to an observer clock, and then in turn this is connected to the villager breeder, like that. And as you can see, I went through a fair few iterations of the not the villager breeder, the nano farms. I went through a fair few iterations on that. And yeah, there we go, turned daytime, time 2000. If we do this, you can see that it's now 2156. It was just before 2000 when it started, and now all these 4 farms are running. And if we set the time to 8500, it'll soon stop. It stops a little bit after 9000 with this many items in it. So it does cover the entire working day for the villagers, and this will just reduce the amount of redstone we need as well. Oh yeah, and then how to connect it up is simple enough. just run a redstone signal from the comparator here and into all of these things. There we go. Stops at around 10,200. Daytime. So if we want to do this here, we really should have the signal come in here, right? These dispensers. Okay. And then that means we need to move this wall back one. And so we can have one observer then, right about here. Oh, wrong way. Or we could even have it here, I suppose. Now, it's nicer to have it there, and then we'll do the whole contraption behind it. Why is there always gravel when you don't need it? So here we have the comparator. Let's actually make this blackstone as well. Otherwise, I know I'll break it when I faff around with the villagers later. Like that. So here we have the comparator. Here we have the other comparator. And here we have the daylight sensor. So this is what we're going to have to dig up then. So far, so good. There we go. Just a little bit off. And when we build houses and stuff up here, we just have to factor in that this needs to be a not a transparent space. Yeah, we'll make it a chimney or something in a house. So there we go, now this clock is up and running, and then we just need some redstone. Take these levers away. Take these observers away, replace them with glass, and stuff like that. Aha, there's a witch. I thought I heard it cackling, although I have been hearing mob sounds from somewhere. So we do have a bit of an issue with lights at some point. And also I've been creepered a few times. In my base, in my very base, guys. It's an affront to everything that is holy. And I haven't figured out yet where they're all coming from, to be honest. That is a bit of a mystery to me. So that's something I'm working on for sure. Anyway, we're just patching this up after a job well done. Aha! And it turned nighttime. And also, you know what we can do? We can actually use the same clock here to have some sort of time-telling device. Because when we're down here, we don't necessarily know if it's sleep time or not. So yeah, well, I think we'll add that later on. But alright guys, that's gonna have to be it for this episode. A little bit of a redstone odyssey. And I think also a pretty good sort of showcase of how I work around here. I sort of start with something like this, do a concept of it, and then something starts irritating me, and then I fix that, and you know, that's how it goes. I dig a bit. As you can see, I don't know if you can notice, but this place is getting more and more dug out every episode here. I sort of dig a bit when I have time for that and things like that. So I just play the game quite a lot around here at the beginning of a base. And now I'm thinking I really should try and change those trapdoors out, but that's kind of tricky to do, so I don't know. Alright, let me know in the comments here how things are going for me, and what you think of the base, and what you think of my ideas so far. And I will see you next time. Bye!